I'm gonna be real out here. We all struggle to get things done. It doesn't matter how much you've achieved, it doesn't matter how productive you are, it doesn't matter how much you've eliminated your bad habits, it still sucks to get things done. It's really hard, it's not easy, and it will never be easy. And in this video, I will talk about a couple of tips which will help you to actually get things done and make the process a little bit, let's say, easier and faster and healthier. So the first thing that is very important when it comes to doing something and finishing something is to start early and start small. So guys, I can't express how important this is to actually start something early. Because when you first start doing a task, imagine yourself like a character who has a strength level. And this strength level is equal to how much work that you can do. And when you first start doing something, this strength level is very low. So you can do very small work when you first start. So when you first start, if you aim to go really big, you'll be burnt out really quickly because your capacity is not there yet. Your strength level is not really high enough to get a lot of job done when you first start. This strength level increases as you do the task with time. So if you start early, you give yourself a chance to actually start small because you still have some time to get the task done. And if you have this opportunity, if you start early, if you have this time opportunity, then you'll be able to ease yourself into the task, not go too big. Because like I said, if you go too big, because your strength level is not enough yet, you will not be able to get that stuff done and you will burn out really quickly and most likely you will not get the thing done. However, if you start late and try to ease yourself into the task, that's not really possible as well because your time will be very limited if you start late. So anxiety and all these thoughts will kick in and they will tell you, oh my god, you don't have enough time, you will not be able to make it. And if all these thoughts and all these worries occupy your mind, it's even harder to get that task done and it's not really easy to ease yourself into the task. You will need to carry out large amounts of tasks in very short time if you start late, and that is not really possible. So what I recommend, whatever it is that you want to do, just start slow and start really early. As long as you get that deadline from your teacher about the homework, or as long as you get that deadline for the job that you want to do or you need to do, just start it at the same day. You don't have to finish or you don't have to complete any specific or important task. Just go through the things that you need to do. Just make a to-do list for tomorrow, for example. Ease yourself into the task. It does not have to be too large. I always do this when I have a committee exam for my medical school, because in medical school the exams, at least in our faculty, it's like that. You get into a single exam in every 3 months, and that single exam covers a huge variety of topics. So you have a lot of stuff to do, and you also have a lot of time to study those topics. But if you start late, that's when the things get crazy. Whenever I have this exam, I always have this exam, by the way, throughout the year. We get into 4 or 5 committees every year. I start as soon as the lectures start. In the first week, I start studying, but it's not really crazy studying. I read a couple of slides here and there in which I think these slides may be complicated and they might make my job harder if I leave them for later. I just start reading those slides a little bit, only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. I ease myself into studying. And when I first start, after each committee session, when the next one comes, the next 3-month period before the exam, I always suck at first. When I first start, I can only read a couple of slides and I'm always distracted with other things. And I always have these thoughts in my head like, oh my god, man, you have still 3 months left for this exam. I mean, there is so much time. Why would you need to start this early? But I force myself to sit on that table and do, it doesn't matter how little I do. I force myself to do a little bit every day, and I ease myself into the tasks. And once 1.5 months has passed, I find myself studying 1 or 2 hours more and with more focus because I started early and I eased myself into the studying period. And especially I noticed this at when it's 2 weeks or 1 week left for the exam, I can study like for 10 hours a day. But I can only do this because I have started early and I have eased myself into this studying period. I did not rush things. I started early and I started small. And this allows me to outperform many of the students in our class as well. I don't say this to sound cocky or stuff, but this is the reality. If you start early and you start small, you will outperform others. It's like this. So the first tip is this. It's very important. Start early and start small. Ease yourself into the task. And the second thing that I want to say, starting will suck. We need to accept this. Starting to do something, it will feel very shit. So don't expect yourself to be very ready to start any of your tasks, because you will not feel ready. You will not feel that perfect sense. Oh, this today, I'm going to start this task. No, it's not going to happen, because you will never feel perfect for something that you need to do. You will never feel like that. You always will feel like there is something missing, and you'll always wait for that right time, but that right time never comes. This thing will suck. And if you accept this, it's always easier to get yourself into that task. This is also the same with the meditation. When we meditate, we do not try to run away from thoughts. We learn that these thoughts will be there, and we learn that these thoughts are uncomfortable, and we learn to sit with them. This is a similar situation while you're starting to do a new thing. You need to acknowledge that this will suck, and act accordingly. A right time will never come. There will never be a time that you will feel 100% ready to start your task. So that's why I'm saying the earlier that you start, the more advantage you will have, because you will never feel ready. Even though 2 weeks later, maybe your other aspects of your life will be better, you will still not feel ready. It doesn't matter how good your life is at that moment or how bad, you will never feel more ready for a task. Acknowledge that it will suck when you will begin. And the third thing is a bit sweeter than those first two ones, which started a bit spicy. This one is a bit better and more easier thing to implement while doing a task. It's a good one, and that is to reward yourself. Even though you might feel like, oh, why should I reward myself? I mean, I haven't done any work, or I haven't done anything yet. Yes, I can understand where you're coming from, but rewards is not something that will make you spoiled or not make you more lazy. They're actually proper rewards, by the way, not shit rewards. I will talk about them as well. Proper rewards motivate you towards doing your task a lot. But when I say reward, I don't mean things like using social media after you do like 30 minutes of work, because that will destroy your whole workflow and everything. I'm not talking about those type of instant gratification rewards. I'm talking about real rewards, real life rewards. Like maybe if you do an hour of work today, you will allow yourself to grab a coffee with your boys. That's a really good reward, man. And if you know that you have something going on like that, you're more motivated to finish the task and to go on with your boys to drink that coffee. This type of rewards do make the task much easier. Or maybe you'll make yourself a coffee at home after you do 30 minutes of work. That's also good. These type of proper rewards, proper real life rewards, change the whole game. At least they do for me. And I'm not the type of guy who likes to be rewarded for every small stuff that he does. But still, I do acknowledge the fact that proper rewarding can help you to reinforce good habits, and it can reinforce you to do your work. So I try to use it sometimes. If I feel too lazy, if I feel like I cannot start this task without a reward, I always set myself a little reward, and after I do my work, I give myself that reward. Be careful with this, because if you promise yourself a reward and you don't give it, or you try to work extra hours, this is not a good thing. If you tell yourself that you will do something fun, or you will reward yourself with something after you do a certain period or certain amount of work, do that reward to yourself, give that reward to yourself, and this will in turn reinforce your mind to do more work and get rewarded afterwards. This is a very good thing to do. And it's not as hard as the first two things that I mentioned, so you can quickly implement this and just get your workload to the next level. Workflow, not the workload. And the last thing, which is not as useful as the first three, but is still pretty useful, is to get yourself closer to the task. What do I mean by get yourself closer to the task? For example, I don't know if you can see, not there. Yeah, there. There goes my printer. There is a printer there. And if I have a task with this printer, I try to get myself closer to it by going to my room more and seeing that printer more. And this in turn reinforces me to start doing that task earlier. It kind of pushes me, like when I see that printer, I just can't get this task out of my mind. And when I see that task more and more, when I see that printer over there, I feel more urge to start that task. And I do this by getting myself closer to this task, by being in this room more. And if you also implement this fourth thing that I tell you on top of these three, I'm telling you it will be 150% more easy to get shit done. I promise you, if you do these four things, it will be much easier to do the things that you need to do. So thank you all for listening. So let's do a little recap here. The first thing that you need to do is to start early and start small. This is the most crucial thing. The second thing is to acknowledge the fact that it will suck to start this thing. And the third thing is to reward yourself for the things that you're doing. And the last but not least is to get yourself closer to the task. I hope you like this video, and I will catch you on the next one.